everybody. I hadn't had a chance to look at the play-by-play in earnest, but I think it'd probably show that we played a much better first half than we did in the second half. Thought our defense played great, particularly in the first half. All the way up until the end. And we had some other guys in the game at the end, and as I told the players in the locker room, just because they got the ball back in the end, we were playing guys that weren't on the first string. It wasn't a rule that they had to score. I thought our first defense really played well, and I was just excited about the fourth down stop we made and the big plays that got them in long yardage situations and forced them to punt. Those were all positive things that happened today on defense. Offensively, I thought we played pretty well in the first half. The exception being the fumble. We had two touchdown drives, and a field goal at the very end of the first half, which I thought was a great job. Again, like last week, we were able to finish the first half with a score. Unfortunately, we couldn't come out in the second half and had to punt the very first drive. But I thought the second half, our offense had played very poor, and it really, I voiced my displeasure with them, and probably got a pretty crappy look on my face. But I know who we have to be and what we have to do if we're going to win and have a chance to beat another opponent on our schedule, any of them. So hopefully we'll get some things corrected through coaching and through practicing the fundamentals in our assignments, and we'll see if we can play better next week and have a chance to be competitive against a great, well-coached Tulane team, who's one of the best teams in our league.
Do you want to start, Sal?
Yeah, Coach. The consistency that you're looking for, is it a matter of, is it a fundamental thing, or is it, what do you see in that? Like,
yeah, it all comes down to assignment fundamentals, execution of those two things. And at times it was assignment, at times it was fundamentals, at times it was both, and at times we could have done a better job as a coaching staff to position our guys. So it's a combination of all of it, and I'm critical of every bit of it. I'm critical of myself because I'm responsible for all of it. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad we won. It sure beats the alternative. But I've been doing this a long time, and I tell you, sometimes it's even hard to enjoy the victories because the standard is so high. My expectations are so high, and the standards to meet those expectations, they have to meet the expectations. And so, it's too much to be perfect. I don't know, not in my opinion. So we're gonna keep trying. And when we have the ball, my expectation is we're gonna score every time we got it. If we don't, I'm gonna be disappointed. But particularly when we make some errors that we can do a better job of controlling.
does it make it more frustrating that you're halfway through the season and stuff is still happening, or?
It happens. It's frustrating no matter what. And there's, I thought we had a pretty good football team a year ago, and we didn't score every single time we had it last year, and I'd get ticked off then too. But we won the game today, and I don't want to discredit how hard it is to win a football game, because it is. And they got a lot of good athletes on that team. And Tim Albin, their coach, is an outstanding football coach. They got a great coaching staff, and it's not easy to go into a situation where you're starting over. We're not starting over here. I've been here 12 years, and we got a culture established, and we got guys that have grown up in our program. So my expectations are really high for these guys, and that doesn't mean that they didn't, in a lot of areas, probably have better athletes than we have. But just collectively, we got to execute together, coaching and playing, and all that we're responsible for together. Just do it at a higher level and do it more consistently. Well, I thought we really did that in the first half. We just didn't do it in the second half.
Was putting in Dwayne score related, or were you looking for like a little boost there?
Well, we want both of those guys to be prepared to play and ready to play, and I thought Cale had played his butt off, and he rushed for 134 yards at that point. He's taking a pounding, and so I think when we pulled him, was it 17 or 24? It was probably 17 at that point. I can't remember.
I think it's
24.
24, yeah.
So at that point, we felt pretty comfortable putting in Dwayne and letting him take a crack at it. And, you get better by playing, and you keep yourself kind of in tune by playing, and so that was good to get him in there.
Go ahead, Ken.
Coach Ken Kreitzer, Canvas Media, congratulations. Just maybe talk a little bit about some of the defensive plays. Jack Boson had a pressure on the first drive, helped force a punt. Casey Larkin had pressure on a receiver on a fourth down play, got possession of the ball for you. Eric Ford got a sack to force the punt, and then Steven Ardosi had a fumble recovery after, I think it was Caleb Porter put pressure on. Just tell us about, how do you feel like the defense played? It seemed like they were more aggressive today.
I thought the guys played really well. I thought our defense played really, really hard, really tough, came up with some big plays. We had several negative yardage plays. We did a really nice job on the drive down here by the building. We got a sack, and then we got another tackle for loss, and then a short gain on third down, and we went for the punt block and ran into the punter. But that was a really good series by our defense. Gave us a chance to get the ball around midfield. Now the penalty kind of backed it up 5 yards or so, but they came up with some drives like that. A stop on 4th and 1, they threw the ball out in the flat, and we were able to stop them. So I was really proud of the defense, really happy with the way they played. We missed some tackles. I noticed that again in the first half, just talking to those guys about tracking the ball and tackling low, and we had some chances in the first half. I thought Coach Woody called a really good game. To tackle him in the backfield for a loss, and we missed a couple of those. But overall, I thought our defense played winning defense. I thought they did a good job.
You talked about quarterback Cale Hillam's first drive. He got the 50-yard cross-field run, knocked out at the 1 and ran it in. And then the next later, they did the 17-play, 10:51 drive, 85 yards, 6 ball carriers. Cale ran 40 yards. And then later on in the second half, he had the 44-yard pass to Noah Short. Great play, and he ran that one in also. Do you feel like the offense is just gaining some rhythm to the way they're playing?
I hope so. I hope we're gaining some rhythm. It would have appeared so in the first half, based on all the things you said, and we all watched it. It would not appear so in the second half. Just didn't look the same, and we get a chance to evaluate that on film, look at what we called and how we executed it, and the fundamentals that went along with it. And I know this, we're going to have to play better than we did in the second half. We're going to have a chance to win.
Just final thought, do you feel like the team is fundamentally playing better the last 2 games?
I feel like we practiced better the last 2 weeks. I feel like collectively as a team, the entire unit has played better over the last couple of weeks. But we're going to have perhaps the biggest test of the year coming up against Tulane. And if you saw that game on, I guess it was Thursday night, East Carolina and Tulane was 2 really good football teams slugging it out to the very finish. And East Carolina, their athleticism, their ability to score, and their ability to stop us, and you got a team that's of the same or better caliber duking it out. So we're going to need to have improved a whole lot from 2 weeks ago when we played East Carolina to we play 7 days from now if we're going to be competitive in the game. But we'll work hard. I promise you that our guys will put the effort in, and our coaches will, and I will. I'll make sure of it, and we'll give it our very, very best shot next Saturday in New Orleans.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Ken.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Chuck.
Okay, Coach, any particular moment in today's game that you felt was really a standout?
Well, let's see. one particular time that was a standout. I thought the first fourth down stop, when they had the ball down there in scoring position, and it's 4th and 1, and we knocked it back for just a short game, didn't gain a lot. That was a big stop, and I think it just really was indicative of how our defense was playing. They're very aggressive and very physical today. I thought that was a big play.
We'll go to Zoom. Joe Iacano, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Monken, congratulations on the win. First question, the defense, just talked about it. Since the first quarter of the East Carolina game, the starters have only given up 1 touchdown. Just talk about their improvement throughout the year. As you mentioned today, they played a great game most of the game. So just talk about what you see in the defense and how they're coming along.
We're doing a better job the last couple of weeks and really in that second half of the East Carolina game, playing blocks and getting off blocks. We've tackled better the last 2 weeks. We didn't tackle great today. I know we missed some, but comparatively, if we look back at how well we tackled against Kansas State, we missed 3 defensive tackles on the night. The next week against North Texas, we missed 23, and then at East Carolina, we missed 20. So we missed a lot of tackles in both of those games. We missed 11 last week, which at least is cutting it down, and we'll see how we did today. But the fundamentals of that, it's number one, to track a ball in space. That's really hard. Track a ball carrier in space, that's hard. Guys are athletic and they're fast. And then to bring a guy down with a lot of space is very difficult. The ones that are in close quarters that I was talking about earlier that we had a chance, it's a guy coming off of a block, a defensive lineman or an outside linebacker, a linebacker, just where the ball's close and we got to disengage from a block and make a tackle, going low and wrapping our arms. Those are the ones that I'd really like to see those, us be a little more effective on those, because it just puts the offense in a bad situation when you can go from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 11 or whatever it may be with a quick stop behind the line of scrimmage. It just changes how they are going to sequence the plays following that. So we'll continue to work on it. We work that fundamental every day. We work tackling in practice every day, block destruction every day. That we have to be as good as we can be in the fundamentals if we're going to be a good defense and good offense and special teams. And so again, we'll get back to work on those things tomorrow and see if we can improve before we play Tulane.
And then my final question, field goal extra point team, there's the block at the end, and Dawson Jones's first field goal was nearly blocked. Was there something there with an assignment on blocking or something that was causing a challenge for that team?
The first one, I don't know if that first one was almost blocked. I'd have to look at it on the film, but sometimes there's going to be some penetration by the defenders in the gaps, and they kind of falling forward and throwing a hand up, and sometimes it looks a little bit closer than it actually is. The operation time is somewhere between 1.2 and 1.3 seconds usually on that play, and so that means a guy only has to go 7 yards, 6 yards. The blocks are the placement point is 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. So a guy penetrates a gap, he gets to 6 yards, he gets his hand up. Well, he's got a pretty good chance to do that in 1.2 seconds if nobody was blocking him. But they're running into people and they're running into bodies, and it's hard. Those guys are they're kind of putting their hands on the backs of our players and pushing themselves up over the top, which is perfectly legal. It's hard to defend, but our guys, they're getting their arms and hands up and kind of getting their high block point down, their hands come down, they're coming toward the ball, but they're not elevated like they would be if they weren't blocked. The last one, that's embarrassing to me. We work PAT field goal protection every single day, and it's not that our guy wasn't trying to make a play and not trying to do what he's supposed to do, but there's 2 guys coming off the edge. One typically rushes between the tight end and the wing, one outside the wing. he should block the guy outside and let the tight end handle the gap between them, and he blocked the guy inside, so the guy coming off the edge was unblocked, and he's coming from the field, so the trajectory of the kick is going right toward him, and he was all over it, but we didn't lay a hand on him, and that's just a missed assignment, and that's our job as coaches to get him to do it right, and he didn't do it right, so that certainly could have been very costly in a closer football game.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
And to wrap us up, Ken McMillan, go ahead.
Jeff, congratulations on the win. We talked several weeks ago about Cale Helms and how he took it really hard, his performance against East Carolina and such.
North Texas.
Now that he started again, had a very strong start, what does it say about his character, his ability to process, and his ability to learn?
Well, it was the North Texas game that I think
North Texas,
pretty
I'm sorry.
jarred up about the three turnovers. He's a tough kid. He's a competitor. He's a winner, and he was remorseful over that and wanted to improve. I think he's worked really, really hard, today was just a good example, I think, of what he's capable of. His toughness, his attitude, his temperament. I think that really showed, and that fits the culture of our program and the kind of offense that we want to run.
And about Hayden Reed, we saw you talking to him after his fumble, and I'm sure he felt terrible about it. But
You don't-
got
you
back
don't-
in the
you don't
game
read
and
lips, do
was
you,
pretty
Ken?
solid in the late in the third quarter and fourth quarter. Again, what'd you think about his bounce back and his ability to be your back?
Thought he did a good job. He had a good attitude. He was over there cheering on his teammates. I know he was disappointed about fumbling the ball. I was disappointed in that too. And I'm glad you said I was talking to him and you weren't a lip reader, because I was sorely disappointed. And as hard as we work on that fundamental, if you come out and watch his practice, I mean, it is for the duration of practice, from the time they hit the field to the time we're gone. I don't care if a guy's over there just messing around with his teammates at the end of practice and they're tossing the ball around and tucking the ball away. I make sure they tuck it away the right way with two hands, and I mean, I'm on their butts all the time about it, so are coaches. So when the ball is knocked loose, that's just, it is one of the most frustrating things for me as a coach, is to have a contact fumble where we aren't protecting the ball the way it's supposed to be. And he knows that, and you know what? He's been here long enough and been in our program long enough and played a lot of football. He understands too what the expectations are. So, when that happened, he spent a lot of time over there on the sidelines with us, but he didn't have a crappy attitude. He kept cheering on his teammates. He was encouraging other guys, and I appreciate that, because that's hard to do, and not go over and feel sorry for yourself and be woe's me. So credit to him, and hopefully it will be a lesson for him, and he'll get better. They say intelligent men learn from their own mistakes, and wise men learn from the mistakes of others. So hopefully he'll learn from his own mistake, and the rest of the guys on our team will be wise enough to learn that too.
Can you offer some thoughts on Smith and Bartosh in the backfield today?
Thought they did a good job. I thought Jake Rendina did too. Thought all those guys ran hard and tried to play hard. We had a few times where we asked them to block, and I thought maybe a couple times they could have sustained that a little bit better. We had a boot play that we had to kind of toss on the sideline that in the protection. If we been a little more effective there at the running back position, we might have been able to break contain and run the ball or find a throwing lane. But there's things like that at every position. It's hard to be perfect, though. I'd like for us to be, and we certainly strive to be. It's hard to be perfect, but I thought those guys played hard.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.